I'm in trouble, Austin? Does your wife know that you cheat on her every weekend? Does she know that you message every single girl on Instagram trying to get in their...
We need to talk about the Ace family because it's heating up fast. It's been a minute since they've been in the spotlight like this, but now Catherine just dropped a bombshell. She's writing a book, and get this, the first 3 chapters were leaked online for a short time before getting taken down. But of course, the internet moves fast, and folks grabbed screenshots before they vanished. Now everyone's freaking out because in those leaked pages, Catherine straight up calls out Austin for cheating on her.
So I'm sure by the last video you know exactly who I'm about to talk about. Anyway, so a couple months ago, I get a DM from him on Instagram just asking me if he could send me stuff from his clothing brand, and I was like, of course. Like, I knew who he was. Like, I had never talked to a celebrity. Like, I was pretty new to doing like collabs and stuff at the time, so I was like, oh my gosh, he really just messaged me. Like, I was just like stoked. So here was our conversation on Instagram. I mean, it was just typical like collab DM. I did find it a little weird and unnecessary that he needed to text me afterwards. So we text, he asks me if I'm going to be in LA anytime soon, and I'm like, yeah, I can be in LA if it means you personally hand me the package, of course. So I go to LA by myself, and I'm going to have to do part 2. So I get to LA, I'm staying in a hotel completely by myself. We're texting a little bit throughout the day, like, you know, kind of like seeing what I keep asking what the plans are later and like what exactly we're doing, and he kind of just keeps beating around the bush and not being direct and just kind of vague, which really bothers me. I'm like the type to like want to know what we're doing. And so like we were supposed to meet at like 6, and then it got pushed to 7, then 8, and then I texted him at 9 like, okay, what is the deal? Like, I was like, why are we meeting so late, you know? Like, when he said spot in Malibu, I was like, what does that even mean, spot? Like, restaurant? Like, what? You know? But anyways, he picks me up in the blue Rolls Royce that everyone knows. So I'm like, okay, so it shouldn't be anything fishy. Like, he's not trying to be sneaky about it, whatever. And then where do we pull up? To a house in Malibu, and I was like, oh my god.
People are like, wait, did she really say that? Yes, she did. One of them finally confirmed the rumors, and it's wild. Nobody expected her to be the one to spill like this, but here we are. So now we're diving into the mess, what she really wrote, what people are saying about it, and what these screenshots actually show. Honestly, nobody thought Catherine would ever come out and talk about this. It's giving major I'm done being quiet vibes, and now that she's got a book deal, she's clearly using it to set the record straight.
He starts telling me like him and his wife aren't really together, it's just for publicity, blah blah blah, and I'm like believing it. I'm just being naive like as can be, just believing everything he's feeding me. And here's where I'm a little ashamed. We did end up doing the thing, okay? Don't judge me, but I did. So long story short, he's like, now I'm gonna be obsessed, blah blah blah, and he actually ended up paying me like $800 for one of the brands that he said he was gonna like hook me up with like ahead of time, which was really weird to me. So after the fact, I just kept hearing stories from other people that this is like what he does with girls and like all these other things, and I was just like disgusted with myself, disgusted with him. So this is him asking me to hang out again, blah blah blah. I didn't.
And let's be real, the internet is going crazy right now. Fans and even ex-fans are picking apart every word, thinking this might be her way of airing out all of Austin McBroom's secrets. The cheating, the lies, the shady relationship drama, all of it. It's spicy. And guess when she announced the book? Mother's Day. That timing alone got people raising eyebrows. Oh, and get this, it's not just one book. It's a 2-part series. Catherine's going all in with this. The title, Dolores. My journey home, finding myself beyond the Ace family. Now, if you're confused about the name Dolores, you're not alone. A bunch of people were in the comments asking the same thing. But here's the deal, that's actually her real name. Yep, Dolores is her legal government name. So she's clearly digging deep for this one. She made the big announcement on Instagram, and the timing was no coincidence. It dropped on Mother's Day. Her caption was all heartfelt and intense. She wrote, "Happy Mother's Day. Today I'm taking a leap of bravery and sharing something deeply personal with all of you. Writing this book was the most vulnerable thing I've ever done, but also one of the most rewarding." She went on to say it took real guts to put her truth out there, but she did it because she believes in honesty, connection, and being resilient through it all. She hopes the book inspires others the same way writing it helped her heal. And the best part? It's already up for pre-order. She's got all the versions ready to go: ebook, audiobook, paperback, and yes, she narrated the audio herself. That means you'll hear every single word in her own voice. It's personal, it's raw, and fans are definitely gonna be all over this. It's me. Every laugh, every tear, every breath I had to catch. That's how Catherine describes the emotional roller coaster of recording her own audiobook. She says it was raw, intense, and surprisingly fun, but above all, it felt like she was right there with the listener, laying it all out chapter by chapter. She poured her whole heart into this project, and her message was clear. "I couldn't have done this without your support. I love you all." Yeah, she's been waiting years for this moment. And on her IG story, she dropped another gem about the book. She had the perfect life until she chose a braver one. Now that hits hard. So let's rewind a bit. Catherine, or should we say Dolores, grew up far from Hollywood, in colorful, multicultural Montreal, Canada. That's where her dreams first took shape. But everything changed when she moved to Los Angeles. There, she built what looked like the perfect life: fairy tale romance, beautiful kids, and a YouTube empire that made the Ace family a household name worldwide. But behind those glossy thumbnails and viral videos, it was a whole different story. Catherine was drowning in heartbreak, dealing with betrayal, and being picked apart under the harsh spotlight of public opinion. She kept smiling for the camera while silently losing herself. And when it all started to crumble, she had a choice: fade away or fight for herself. So she chose the journey, the one where she turned all that pain into power, took control of her own story, and slowly made her way back to the real her, the woman she was always meant to be. This isn't just another influencer memoir. It's the real story behind the picture-perfect life, and the fearless woman who finally stepped out from behind the illusion to chase something real. The full book officially drops on July 1st, so there's still a little wait before we can get our hands on the whole thing, but it's already making serious waves online. Catherine's been teasing fans about what's next too. Someone asked her on Snapchat, "How soon should we expect part 2? And her response? Let's just say, once most readers are done with book 1, book 2 will be right around the corner. She's not playing around. She's got the next one lined up and ready to hit hard. Now here's where things really start to get crazy. A preview of the first 3 chapters supposedly popped up online, briefly, and then just vanished. Yep, it was up for a short time and then got pulled down real quick. But the internet doesn't sleep. People were fast to screenshot everything they could before it disappeared. Now those screenshots are floating around everywhere, and people are losing it. What's in them is actually from the book. It's wild, like jaw-dropping wild. Folks are saying they found the sample on both Google and Apple's platforms, and this is what sparked the whole frenzy. If this is just the beginning of what's inside, then the full release might seriously shake things up. If this leak is real, then wow. Catherine's not just throwing subtle shade. She's naming names and calling out Austen directly, like no sugarcoating, no vague hints, just straight up putting it all out there. And honestly, if she's ready to go there, good for her. But let's be real, co-parenting after this? That's gonna be messy. How do you share parenting duties when your ex just dropped receipts in a book for the whole world to see? But we'll find out soon enough. July 1st can't come fast enough. One of the leaked parts people keep talking about is when she reflects on that huge Ace family event at the Staples Center. The time they looked like they were on top of the world. But she says she felt totally disconnected from Austen, like she was there physically but emotionally gone. She admits they were just playing the part for the cameras, keeping up the image even when the reality behind it was falling apart. And then she allegedly found out about the cheating. In the leaked text, she writes something that hit hard. Perfectly camera ready, hair, makeup, nails, fitness, skin. Through it all, Austen and I were a dynamic duo, the secret sauce that made our YouTube channel so popular, the perfect blend that made it all happen. But then she flips it. She says the more she watched Austen work the crowd, the more she felt her own worth shrinking. She had traditional family values poured into the relationship, hyped him up, always made sure he felt appreciated. She says, "I put Austin on a pedestal. I made sure he knew he was seen, but I didn't know if he saw me." That line alone, crushing. She talks about how invisible she felt, even though millions of people watched her every day. And during that massive charity event for the Thirst Project, while they were celebrating their success, she was pregnant, quietly fading into the background, staying out of the spotlight. It's raw, it's painful, and it's only the beginning. Their second big charity event, this time for the painted turtle, Catherine says things were different. She wasn't pregnant, she felt strong, confident, and fully ready to step into the spotlight. She threw herself into the planning, into the moment. She wanted to be seen. This wasn't just about supporting from the sidelines. She wanted to be part of it, front and center, not just the woman behind the scenes. Then came the moment that changed everything. The locker room. It was supposed to be nothing, a quick pre-show moment before the event kicked off, but to her, it turned into something huge. She turned to Austin and asked, "Do you want me to walk out with you?" Simple words, but packed with meaning. That wasn't just a logistical question. That was her asking to be chosen, to be more than just his background support, to walk side by side as equals. And his answer? Cold, dismissive. He shrugged and said, "Only if you want to. Not yes. Not I need you by my side." Just a half-hearted brush off like it didn't matter either way. But to her, it mattered. A lot. She held it together and thought, okay, if that's what he wants, let him have his moment. So she stepped back. Let him walk out alone. Let him be the face while she faded into the background. Again, she later admits, plain and simple, I wanted to be there beside him. She wanted to be his partner, not his prop. And then comes the line that really hits. But love wasn't supposed to be like that. That right there, that's heartbreak in its rawest form. Something just didn't sit right. Catherine says she felt it deep down. Austin should have wanted her right there, front and center, by his side from the very beginning of that event. But not only did he turn away, she didn't feel like she belonged there either. And when he waved to the screaming fans, it hit her. He was more hyped by the attention of strangers than the quiet, real love that was right next to him. She watched him scan the crowd, eyes darting everywhere, except at her. And in that moment, she knew he wasn't fully there anymore. He had already drifted away. Then she drops the real bomb. A few months later, everything shattered. Not just rumors, not whispers. Proof Austin had been cheating. She didn't have to wonder anymore. She didn't have to ask. It was real. That's when it all clicked. That moment in the locker room, the shrug, the lack of connection, it wasn't just a bad day, it was a sign. He had already broken his vows. He'd been emotionally gone way before she ever realized it. And then it gets even messier. A close family member of his told her something she never saw coming. Apparently, Austin had invited another girl to that very same Staples Center event. The night Catherine thought she was being selfless by stepping back and letting him shine, that was the night the other woman was there too. Catherine remembers seeing her. Pretty, hanging around, standing just close enough to look out of place, but still somehow confident, like she belonged there. That moment burned into her memory. And now we know why. Catherine says she noticed the girl that night, but not in a loud, obvious way. More like the way you spot something off in a puzzle, a piece forced where it doesn't belong. Something about her felt out of place. She even found herself wondering, who invited her? Now she knew. Everything made sense. The cold shoulder, the distant attitude, that empty shrug when she asked to walk beside him. It all lined up. She remembers how Austin treated her that night, like she was in the way. Like she was just another thing he had to deal with, not his partner, not his wife. The gap between them wasn't sudden. It had been spreading slowly, quietly, like a crack in a foundation just waiting to split wide open. And that night finally did. After that, she says she shut down, turned inward. Her whole world flipped. She started replaying everything. Every late-night editing session, every rushed excuse, every time he glanced at his phone and tilted the screen just far enough so she couldn't see. And that's when it hit her, there wasn't just one girl. There were others. So many lies, so many betrayals. And even surrounded by millions of fans online, Catherine says she had never felt more alone. Not just in her marriage, but in her entire life. She couldn't even bring herself to call her mom. The shame was too heavy. Saying the words out loud, "He cheated on me," would make it real, too raw. Something she couldn't spin into a softer version or push down to avoid breaking. And telling her dad or her brother, she says she couldn't do that either. The humiliation was too loud, the heartbreak too big. So she kept it inside, quietly crumbling in silence. Catherine says she didn't even tell her brother. He had just started his own YouTube channel, and she didn't want to drag him into the chaos. She didn't want to mess up how he saw Austin, even though in her heart she knew she could never look at her husband the same way again. And here's the twist. She was newly pregnant with their third child at the time. That's right. While carrying new life, she was also carrying all the pain and betrayal by herself. She didn't have the energy to fight. She didn't have the peace to rest. Everything stayed locked inside, sitting on her chest like a weight she couldn't shake. It made it hard to breathe, hard to sleep, hard to even think. She describes it so clearly, it was like drowning in silence. No one knew what she was holding in. Now here's something else people are picking apart. Throughout these pages, she calls Austin her husband and talks openly about them being husband and wife, which is interesting because there's always been this speculation floating around. Were they ever legally married? There were never any public divorce filings when they split, and fans were left guessing. But in these screenshots, she's straight up saying husband, no dancing around it. And speaking of messy, let's talk about this alleged mystery woman at the charity event. Since that leak mentioned Austin inviting a girl that night, internet detectives have been working overtime trying to ID her. The name that keeps popping up? Monica Bush. People are flooding Monica's socials, accusing her of being the woman at the center of it all. Comments like, "The way you were happily a homewrecker is crazy," are being spammed all over her page, spiraling fast. And if Monica is the girl in question, this whole situation just got even more explosive. The internet is coming hard for this girl. People are lighting up her comment section with stuff like, "Karma's coming for you." And yeah, it's Austin's fault, but you knew he had a wife and kids, ma'am. One person even said, "You got about 3 seconds to start explaining." It's intense, and it shows just how wild this drama's gotten. Then someone dropped a huge detail. This girl, Monica, apparently has old videos from way back in 2021 where she seems to admit she was involved with Austin McBroom. Now, is she the same girl who showed up at that charity event? That's still up in the air. But what is clear is that she definitely claimed she hooked up with him. In those videos, she talks about how Austin invited her over, saying it was supposed to be about business. He told her they were going to watch Netflix and talk about brand deals and other opportunities. She thought it was legit at first, but then she admits she was naive, saying something like, "Yeah, I was dumb, I still went." And later that night, they hooked up. She basically says she walked in thinking it was a networking thing, and Austin was like, yeah, I'll help you out with brand deals and stuff, trying to play it cool. But it turned into something completely different. So now, with the leaked chapters out and fans digging up receipts, everything's starting to connect. And the drama is off the charts. The internet isn't holding back. People are coming hard at Monica, one comment said. "Karma will get you." Another read, "Austin's definitely the one to blame, but you, ma'am, you knew he had a wife and kids." And someone even wrote, "You've got 3 seconds to start explaining yourself." Comment section is a war zone right now. And here's where it gets wild. This girl has old videos from 2021 where she pretty much admits she was with Austin McBroom at some point. Now, it's still unclear if she was the same girl at that charity event Catherine mentioned, but what we do know is that she said straight up, they hooked up. In the video, she claims Austin hit her up trying to get her to watch Netflix. She thought it was about business, like legit business, brand deals, promo work, all that. But then she admits, "Yeah, I was dumb. I still went." She ended up hanging out with him another night, and that was the night it went down. She says he kept it casual, talking about helping her with brand work. But before long, it turned into something else. They hooked up, and afterward, she says he started opening up about his situation with Catherine. According to her, Austin told her he and his wife weren't really together anymore. that the whole thing was just for publicity. She says, "I believed it. I was being so naive. I just believed everything he was feeding me." Then she admits something she's clearly still ashamed of. In her own words, "We did end up doing the thing. Okay, don't judge me, but I did." She goes on to say Austin told her things like, "Now I'm gonna be obsessed with you," and tried to make it sound deeper than a random hookup. But the kicker? He actually paid her $800 for one of the brand deals he had promised her. She thought that was really weird, like he was trying to make the whole thing look more legit than it actually was. So now people are side-eyeing everything. The lies, the manipulation, the money. And Monica? She's right in the center of this internet firestorm. After everything went down, Monica said she started hearing more stories. Other girls, similar situations, same game plan. And that's when it hit her. She says she felt disgusted, not just with Austin, but with herself. The more she heard, the more it all clicked. This wasn't a one-time thing. This was a pattern. She even shows messages of him trying to link up again like nothing had happened. Same vibe, same energy, but she says she didn't go. She was done. Now the internet's running wild with theories. And a lot of people are convinced Monica is the girl Catherine was talking about at the Staples Center charity event. But honestly, there's still no solid proof. Possible, sure, but some folks think if Monica really was the girl from that night, she would have made a whole story time about it by now. Especially since she's already shared a bunch of other details online. Plus, Catherine only described the mystery woman as pretty and blonde, which means it could have been someone else entirely. We still don't have a name confirmed from Catherine herself. So for now, it's all speculation. Still, ever since those leaked pages from the book started making the rounds, people have been digging deep, piecing together names, receipts, screenshots, trying to match up the dots and figure out who's who. But now it's your turn. What do you think? Is Monica the girl from that event? Or is there someone else behind the scenes we haven't uncovered yet? Drop your thoughts, and until next time, stay tuned because this story's still unraveling.